two worlds colliding. Love is Blind, the dating show on Netflix, and Tinder, in a very loose connection, are coming together, according to our producer, Kyro.
Yeah, so Love is Blind. I've seen the show. It's addicting. I heard you talking about it so much, Bert, that I was like, I gotta watch this.
Dude, it's so bad that it's good. I finished it last night, and I only scrolled. I started just fast forwarding to see who said yes and who said no. Because I couldn't stand the show anymore. I just wanted to see people get turned down in front of their family.
Yeah, there's something very fulfilling about that. Well, after you watch an entire season of Shake, guys, he was the worst. And then it's very fulfilling.
Explain the premise for those of us like myself who do not watch it.
Yeah, so it's singles that are dating in pods, so they can't even see each other. That's how the whole show starts. So the premise is you're falling in love with no physical attraction. It's all based on what people are saying. And then some of these dudes, after spending just a couple of days talking to these women, will get down on a knee in their own pod where the other woman can't see, where the woman can't see, and proposes through the wall. So they get engaged, never seeing each other.
Come on.
Then, Then in the next episode, the drama is them seeing each other for the very first time with cameras super close on their face, just to see if he or she thinks they're heinous or not.
Every first kiss is so awkward. And there's one this season. I don't think this happened last season, but there's one this season where proposed, they meet each other the next day for the first time, they kiss, and they're like, okay, bye, and they go back to their respective rooms for the night because they're going to move in together the next day. And one girl packs her bags.
Yeah, she's like,
the next thing you see is her on an airplane, and you're like, oh, I guess she's out.
Yeah, so they get engaged, they see each other in one episode, then the next couple of episodes, it's just them hanging out now in real time on vacation to see if they really have anything in common. And then the finale is, because keep in mind, now they're engaged, but really not really. So they get in front of the families are invited to the wedding, and there the pastor is, and he says, do you take her or do you take him to be your wife or husband or whatever? And at that point, they make the decision to get married or not. But the whole family is there, and it's formal. It's just like a wedding, but they decide right there, right then, if they're going to get married or not. And thank God in this season, it really ends up very horribly.
Last season, there's one couple that's still married. The cutest ones. Remember them? It was Cameron and Lauren last season. So it's possible to stay together after dating blind for like 10 days.
So wait, one couple survived out of how many?
A bit.
Oh, okay.
I'm still shocked at those odds, though.
That's true. It's like 1 in 30.
So that's the premise of the show right there.
Yeah, and I love it. And even though it doesn't work out, I feel like me and a lot of people out there were like, I'd like to try that out. Maybe that'd be fun. It looks fun. So there are a couple dating apps that have popped up, a couple of new ones that have like Love is Blind features and Tinder did it as well, where you start messaging someone and they don't show you their picture or anything. And as you start messaging, they start to unveil like a photo of them. So you get to know the person before you know what they look like. And the idea is it's kind of like Love is Blind.
Curious though, because Tinder, like that's the whole premise. Like it's your initial like reaction to their physical appearance, because it's whether you swipe right or left on their picture. So how does the new Tinder work? Like, how do you even figure out who you want to swipe on?
There are bios, but you know, when there are pictures, normally you don't read them.
Yeah.
So
you actually have to read.
I do have to read, but you know, you're talking and it's fun because I feel like I'm on a like TV show. I'm like looking over in my corner at the like imaginary cameras, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe she said this.
Are you doing confessionals, like just staring at a wall? You're like, at first I was nervous, but now I'm really into this. I think it might be fun.
Yeah, I think they rolled out this feature like a couple of weeks ago. And then now Tinder is it was just in the news, is rolling out a new feature that kind of connected because you're not really seeing the person, but you are talking to them. So I think naturally people start asking questions about like safety, you know, because on Love is Blind, they're like producers doing background checks on people.
Yeah.
There ain't that on Tinder. So Tinder partnered with this nonprofit. It's called Garbo. I just think the name is funny. It's called Garbo.
You're
And
the
you can
only
do-
one.
It does kind of sound like a children's toy, like some kind of like a little thing.
And you can do background searches on people, and you get 2 free ones. I used it last night. It ain't great.
No?
What happened? You ain't get none?
I want to say it's great and awesome. Doing a background search someone on Tinder, you know, I did a background search on me.
Oh.
And,
Oh yeah.
And one,
You used your freebie on you
yes.
to see what would pop up.
Well, yeah, I mean,
That's smart, actually.
I'm down with
I
that.
ain't gonna lie, I would do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What you
I want to
got?
see my rating first.
What did your background check say?
My background check said, you know, there was no criminal history, which, you know, is correct for me.
That they
But-
know of.
But they didn't really narrow it down just to me. And the way this background search works, it's not actually on the app. You have to go off the app
Yeah.
and you have to put in all the person's information. It asks for their name, middle initial, last name, you know, their zip code, their everything, their phone number, anything you know about this person. And I was like, there are plenty of sites like that already on the internet where you can do a background search on someone if you have their phone number and name.
So you're saying there's no more convenience in what Tinder has done than you just getting the information by talking to the person and going to your own independent website.
Yes, it's actually a little bit worse because Garbo doesn't want to. I think they're being ethical, and they're trying not to give out that person's like address or something. Because if I
Yeah.
have your phone number, I know where you live. So you know, with those sites, so Garbo doesn't want to tell you that. So Garbo gives you a list of people and says things like, "We're highly sure that this person is not a murderer. Where it's probable they haven't committed any violent offenses."
So the verbiage they're using is to CYA.
Yeah. They
Sure,
They can't commit. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like birth control pills. Like we only work 99.9% because there's going to be that exception.
Exactly.
Yeah,
All right, so they're telling you basically what the percentage of murderer is
Yeah.
when you do this search. Is that what you're saying?
yeah. Like I popped up. I did a background search on myself, and I haven't murdered anybody. And
Good to know.
and it
That's nice of you.
It's like a weather forecast, like
Yeah.
Kyro, partly murdery.
it pops up with me, and it's like no criminal history, highly probable, no violent offenses. And I was like, what is this highly probable? Like, just tell me, like, do an actual background search of me and tell me.
But
Like,
they don't know you're
they-
picking up midnight hitchhikers and letting them be your roommate for a minute. That is kind of murdery. It's like you were just feeling it out. Like, how far can I go up until you murder them?
But I mean, like if you had even given me like a Facebook, you could have seen that I had like a homeless roommate. You can just if you had my name and phone number, you can find this info. I think it's kind of misleading for something like Garbo to be like, hey, you know, we're giving you the information and for you to trust them, and there's no real usable information that they're giving.
No real substance.
I think in this case for you, Kyro, this background check will only play to your benefit because if I look at your picture, I'm probably like, he's killed somebody.
Nah.
But
Or he's going to. One or the other.
you know, that one I can't predict. But at
Yeah.
least if I have the background check, I can say, oh, he just looks this way.
But when it says highly probable, if someone told me I was going on a date and it's highly probable they're not going to kill you, I'm like,
The odds are on
I'm
your favor.
feeling
Yeah,
lucky
good
today.
enough for me.
The Bert Show.